So, um, I am back with another thing. It's not a book review. Um, Honestly, reading has been a little bit of a chore for me. I'm not quite sure sometimes, like anybody really, I just go through phases where I pick up a book and it's not that I'm uninterested in the book. It's just the brain's not thinking that reading is fun anymore, which I still love reading. And I still have moments where I'm like, I really want to read. But then I'm like, but do I want to? And then other things just seem more entertaining. But that doesn't mean that um that doesn't mean that um um doesn't mean that I am, you know, it doesn't mean that I have to be all like, oh, I hate reading. I'm gonna stop reading and I'm gonna stop thinking like about books and what I want to do with books and stuff. So I'm going to figure out how to use this screen because I can never remember. Oh my gosh, can you go away? Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm spoiling everything. So I have come up with a little presentation because I like the presenting things. I used to post on Instagram um, things like this, but to be honest, Instagram has gotten to be a little bit of a storm where nobody really cares unless you are involved in some controversy. And I don't want to get involved in controversies. I just want to share things that I'm interested in. Therefore, hello, YouTube. Goodbye, Instagram. I'm still on Instagram, but I don't post much or anything really. If I find something stupid, then I'll post it. It's mostly just a spam account. I've gone through my account and deleted a bunch of things because why am I going to spend time on posts that nobody's going to be interested in? So here I am on YouTube, and this is why I've been why why I've become intentional with my reading. So my old reading habits. Um, well, when I first started on Bookstagram, I used to read books that were popular that basically everybody was reading. And I'm talking about books um that were at that time were really popular. It's like a Good Girl's Guide to Murder and the Folk of the Air series and Fourth Wing and Court of Thorns and Roses. And I used to read these books without actually thinking about what I was reading. And I would pick up a book and just read it without looking into it. When I was a child, I used to pick up a book without looking into it. And that meant that for majority of my life when it came to reading, I was very shocked. It was very easy to throw me off guard when it came to books, which means that I'm careful now. I actually was in audiobook prison with Icebreaker because if you haven't read it, maybe you don't want to because first three chapters was just straight up porn. I was in the car listening to the audiobook, and this is one of the books that was popular at the time that I had started on Bookstagram, and I was getting into audiobooks, and I was thinking that I would listen to this book while I was in the car. And I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, I need to get pulled over because I can't stop this book. I can't skip through it. I can't get past the porn, and it's only chapter two. So that was that was fun. It was like being imprisoned in my own vehicle. I can't do that. I can't be uncareful anymore when it comes to reading. There's a lot of things like not just when it comes to um you know not just when it comes to reading things that are like icebreaker, but there's now books that are being written by AI. And while places like Barnes and Noble will claim that they're going to share that the book is written by AI, I don't necessarily trust it because if it's anything I've learned when it comes to reading and the whole book world is it's very easy for people to slip things in that shouldn't be there. So I don't really trust books. I have to look into it, or else I'm going to find something that is like Icebreaker, where, oh, yes, this is a cute little innocent book. A lot of people love it. It'll be a nice audiobook. Holy cow, that first chapter, that second chapter, and I couldn't even get past the third chapter. And the children's books, they're not safe anymore either. This particular book, Sibylline, was originally marketed for 12-year-olds, and it's riddled with smut without any warning either. It was just filled with necrophilia, non-consensual necrophilia without any warning. And it was for 12-year-olds. The author intentionally looked at a 12-year-old and was like, I know what you need. You need some necrophilia. It's the equivalent, these books these days, they're the equivalent to having a white van drive up into a neighborhood, and the white van's got a creepy dude with candy. Come and get it, kids. And now as a Christian, like I was a Christian while I was reading these books, which is why I was so uncomfortable reading them, why I was so uncomfortable coming across these parts in these books, like Icebreaker, because I was just uncomfortable. The Bible tells you to be intentional with what you read so that you can protect what you come in. That doesn't mean that I am super, super picky about books. Like a book that I'm reading right now, I'm still reading The Last Letter. And that book, it's got some heavy smut in it, but it's not like Icebreaker where the entire chapter, there's like three chapters in the beginning. And honestly, it could be the entire book. I didn't read the whole book of Icebreaker. I couldn't get through the first three chapters. I was, like I said, audiobook prison. Um, but if the book has some parts in it that I can just skip over, all right, that's good. That's what I'm doing with The Last Letter. There's plenty of parts of that book that isn't smut and is just like, wow, these characters are adorable. And there will be a book review on that once I get around to finishing that book. So if it's not skimmable, then I just ditch the book. It's just there are too many books in this world to be stuck up on one book that's making me uncomfortable. And this is what I was talking about when it comes to the Bible commanding Christians to be intentional. For this, I chose the verse Matthew 6:22 through 23. Your eye is like a lamp that provides light for your body. When your eye is healthy, your whole body is filled with light. But when your eye is unhealthy, your whole body is filled with darkness. And if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep that darkness is. Which, as is the best way that I can explain this, is you have things that go into your mind that aren't always good for your mind. And some of these books, when I wasn't intentional with what I was reading, they did make me feel uncomfortable. And it didn't feel like something that I wanted to have in my mind. It didn't feel like something that I could really relate to. A lot of people back when I was first on Bookstagram, I would read these books because I got really interested in the story. And then a lot of people reading the books would turn them would grasp hold of the part of the book that is smutty and make the entire book just that, which left me uncomfortable while I was reading the book because I wasn't just taking what was in the book, I was also taking what other people were taking from the book and choosing to focus on. So it made reading the book, it made me uncomfortable, and it made me think while I was reading it like, okay, this isn't clean. This isn't what God wants me to put into my head. So then I started being like, okay, it's enough. I've had enough of these books. I've had enough of trying to skim even the skimmable parts because people would highlight those parts that I would be skipping through. So as I'm skipping through those parts, I also have somebody else being like, "So you remember that part of that book?" And I'm like, "No, because I tried to skip through it and you just told me all about it." So be intentional with what you're reading and seek the things that are good for you. Because if you aren't doing that, if you're seeking the things that are dark, then you're going to be dark. If you're seeking the things that are light, then you're going to be light. And as Christians, we should be seeking books that don't give us a stumbling block. There are Christians that can read through those skimmable parts and not be bothered. And there are Christians that can't read those skimmable parts and not be bothered. For me, it's just like I've had it with the last letter where I the ending of a chapter, I just skipped the end because the next chapter just picks up after all of that. So I wasn't actually, you know, getting it. Though there are some Christians that would read that and be like, "Okay, I can't read this book anymore." And the only time that I actually reach that moment is when, like I said, first three chapters of the book are just pure smut. I can't take it. It's an audio book. I can't skip it. I'm driving. And then I skimmed this part, but everybody's talking about it. And it's wherever I go on the Bookstagram, that's where it is. People are always talking about it, and it kind of makes me look at the book like, is it even worth it? Is this what all of this is about? It ruined Fourth Wing for me. It ruined A Court of Thorns and Roses with me for me. It ruined it for me. So when it comes to those books, it's like, okay, let's regroup here. Am I allowing my mind to be a lamp? Am I allowing my mind to tell me that the things that I'm reading are good for me? Or am I allowing my mind to tell me that these things that are not good for me are good for me? Because there's a difference. There's what's good and there's what's not good, but I'm telling myself it's good just because I'm uncomfortable and I want to get into the hype. And that is when I had to start being intentional with my reading because I was uncomfortable reading and I didn't want to stop reading because reading is fun. Even when sometimes I can't pick up a book because I'm in a bit of a slump. Hopefully, talking about books again will it'll get me where I want to be. That said, that has been why I've become intentional with my reading. And I wonder how many other people are intentional with what they're reading. Is the intent behind your reading something that drives your reading, or is it something that you don't even think about? Because I mean, take it from me. When it used to not be something that I would think about. And then I would start thinking about it and be like, okay, it's making sense. My behaviors, everything that I'm thinking, just the misery that I can have when it comes to trying to talk about a book that I'm enjoying and then having everybody else turn it into something that I didn't pick up on. So, without further ado, I hope you enjoyed the video and let me know in the comments what your intentions with reading are. Are you intentional with what you pick up, or are you just don't care? It just you don't think about it.